With the Quintessential Quintuplets movie finally being watchable outside of Japan, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up the most important question. Was best girl chosen? Answer, no. You know why? Because Nino is still single by the end of the movie. And I mean, yeah, she drugged you like twice and has been like a super tsundere for most of the time. But like, we look past those things, you know? It's better than choosing Yotsuba, who you haven't had but like what, 2 or 3 romantic interactions throughout the 2 seasons? They do a pretty good job of characterizing her in the movie, since she's one that gets the most focus, but it does come a bit too late. I know she's the girl he met all those years ago, and the one he met first, and that's how these type of shows go, but all I'm saying is...
He chose poorly.
Now, putting shipping stuff aside for a moment, I actually really like the movie. It's not often these types of rom-com shows are not only able to fully adapt their story, but also do it in a satisfying way. I remember about a year ago, I saw a few posts talking about how the ending to this anime was just disappointing, but honestly, I don't see why. Unless they change the ending from the manga, this works for me, especially for what kind of show it is. Now, the only thing that I would say kind of felt out of place was their biological dad coming back out of nowhere and just throwing around demands like he actually raised them. I think a plot point like that should have carried more weight in regards to the story, but he was just gone as quickly as he showed up. I don't even think all of the quintuplets spoke to him directly when he came in. Outside of talking to Itsuke, he was pretty insignificant overall. I mean, the man walked in, said fuck your mama, and then left. He was basically just there to give credit to their stepfather and his style of parenting, when they've pretty much built him up to be more or less neglectful, or at the very least, very hands-off when it came to raising them. But other than that, the rest of the movie was pretty solid to me. Aside from the relationship drama, the first part of the movie focuses on how they've grown since meeting Futaro, what their dreams are, and how they plan on chasing them after graduation. Some of them are pretty straightforward, like Ichika continuing to be an actress or Nino opening a bakery, while the other 3 get a bit more attention in their decision making. One of the biggest being Itsuki and her dream of being a teacher, and whether or not it's her wishes or her still trying to emulate their mother by following in her footsteps. And this is a big thing for her, since looking back at the series, she tried taking on that motherly role of all the sisters. It felt like she is more coming to her own now that she's not chasing after her mom anymore. Then on the other side, you have Miku, who has learned to be more assertive and willing to take charge, whether it's the relationships she's built up with her classmates or her love life. That internal resolve allowing her to tackle her dreams head on, even if she's uncertain about them. And it's just one of those things where you're satisfied watching these characters you've spent time grow and evolve and become more confident in who they are, that makes it such a good send-off for the series as a whole. Now, about halfway through is when Futaro makes his choice, and we get the much needed characterization for Yotsuba. Learning how her more competitive nature led to her start to resent her sisters early on in life. Always being considered as one of 5 destroyed her individualism and made her want to do more to stand out by distancing herself from the rest of them. That continued internalized regret is why she now works herself to death to make sure her sisters have a fulfilling life without regrets. So that kind of explains why she's taken a backseat to the rest of the quintuplets, especially in regards to romance, thinking everyone involved would be happier if literally anybody else was chosen, and her not wanting to deal with the fallout of them all liking the same guy. Now, whether or not that was acceptable enough, it seems to differ depending on who's watching. It was enough for me, but I'm not judging anyone who thought it was a bit lackluster, because I can definitely see how people could think that. But looking back at the series, she's the one who was always nice to him, and the only one who he didn't have to win over because she's always loved him from the beginning. So while her being the one he picked might be surprising or even disappointing from a viewer standpoint, it makes sense for an in-universe point of view, and I can't be mad at that. Plus that time skip of seeing their wedding and him having point their family as to her was just so wholesome and sweet that I could let it slide easily. Cause among your other basic harem rom-coms, I feel like the Quintessential Quintuplets stands a tier above that. It'll give you the stereotypical over-the-top comedy with bits of fan service sprinkled throughout, but it really shines during the emotional development of each of the characters, as you can see how each of them influence the others around them. And now with the addition of the movie, every one of them gets their time in the spotlight, as opposed to other shows where there might be an obvious front runner among the relationships, and some of them will probably get left in the background and just not be as relevant. If I'm honest, it's probably why the waifu wars for this show get as serious as they do, because people can relate to the basic desires of family, love, and personal growth, as these concepts are pushed to the extremes like they often are in anime. Either that, or people just like to self-insert into these kind of shows and get attached like weebs do. But no matter what, I would say that the Quintessential Quintuplets is definitely one of the better rom-coms to come out in recent years, and I'm just happy it was able to get fully adapted. So tell me what you thought of the movie and the series as a whole, because I know people have not really hot takes, but some strong feelings about this. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.